So that's a Swedish dictionary, a Swedish phrase book, and a Swedish verbs book. Now this is a book that I've been writing in for some time, as you can see. It's a Swedish book, but I've been writing in this thing for, I can't even tell you when. I mean, it's got loads of phrases in there. I don't know if you can see that properly. It's probably high definition, so you'll probably be able to. It's got loads of stuff in there. You know, over the years, I've literally just put loads of words in here. It's sort of falling apart, but you know, I've got more words in there. I haven't actually finished the whole book, but it's just literally word after phrase after phrase after phrase, and I mean, some of the phrases are a little bit wrong because that's when I sort of started learning it. But I remember when in my French lessons when I had a little vocabulary book, and we had to sort of like write in different phrases in French, and it's how I sort of decided. It's sort of like the decision I made into getting this book and putting loads of stuff in there, and it's absolutely classic. You know, if you get yourself a pen and paper, and if you sort of like come across a phrase that you want to learn in future, just stick it in there and try and learn it as much as you possibly can. It's like revision, and it's like learning for a French exam, like doing loads of stuff, and it's how I've learnt it raw and everything. I mean, I've learnt Swedish raw and casually. In terms of actually learning it properly, well, the best thing you can do is go and live in the country, go and live with a Swedish family. That's very, very interesting to note. Learning with a traditional Swedish family is very, very useful. Living there is even better because you know you get an idea of how people speak, and the more time you're there, the easier it'll become, and the easier it'll be to really get yourself into it as well. Especially if you're talking with people who are not really too keen on speaking English, and that's always a sort of challenge. The people that don't speak English too well. And the only thing you can speak is Swedish. That's a very interesting challenge. Although I've sort of had problems with that myself, but you know, in the long run, if you're learning stuff with somebody that knows the language, then if anybody's watched the movie The Last Samurai in Tom Cruise, when he's sort of like learning Japanese, he sort of like learns with a family, and you know, it's little words that, you know, like a nose and an ear or whatever. You know, you get an idea of like how to learn these words and then construct them in different sentences, and then it sort of builds up. You build your vocabulary up. That's important, to build your vocabulary up, and it's absolutely important. And the last thing I'm going to suggest for this video is something like is a program on a computer like Rosetta Stone. The Rosetta Stone is probably the best program to use for learning languages. I think, you know, it's absolutely. I'm not going to swear, but it's brilliant. It's absolutely fantastic. It was the first thing I ever used for learning a language, and basically what you do is you literally sort of learn it. You just learn the language through pictures and words, and you sort of like you associate the words that's being said through pictures, and the more you go through it, the easier it will become, and then once you sort of like got the backbone of all the words that you've learned, everything sort of like comes naturally to you. And well, it depends on what sort of person you are. Some people might sort of find it easier, others might not. So, you know, sometimes you just got to play it by ear. And that's sort of the way I've learnt it. That's sort of like the way. And the other thing is just maybe go and attend classes. Attending classes is always important as well. I'm not sure if there's. I've found it very hard myself to find interesting classes. in and around London. But remember, Google is your friend. So, you know, just look it up on Google if you don't know. Look online and there we go. So that's my quick video on good ways to learn Swedish. A lot of people have actually emailed me about, oh, what good things do you use? Or what sort of books do you use? What sort of things do you use? Well, I've literally answered all those questions for you. So if you've got any more questions, just post a comment. Post me on Twitter as well if you've got any problems. So yeah. There you go, guys. That's how you learn Swedish. That's sort of like the cornerstone of how to learn Swedish. So yeah, that'll be it for today. Until the next video, I shall see you later. Hejdå!